This segment of our show is brought to you by our good friends at the John Birch Society. Less government, more responsibility, and with God's help, a better world. The JBS is a constitutional and educational organization that's been around for over 60 years, dedicated to upholding and defending the Constitution and working to preserve our freedoms and liberties in this country. The JBS does not endorse any political party or candidates. Rather, it focuses on the education, training, and development of the American voters.
Welcome to Black Spring. Looks like Charlemagne would prefer to relegate presidential nominee Joe Biden to mute in his basement. According to the TNA, the controversial syndicated radio host Charlamagne the God, real name Leonard Larry McKelvey, blasted the Democrat presumptive nominee Joe Biden for claiming that President Donald Trump was the first racist to ever be elected president of the United States. McKelvey made the remark Thursday on his radio show, The Breakfast Club. Quote, "The way Trump deals with people based on the color of their skin, their national origin, where they're from is absolutely sickening," end quote, Biden said. Quote, "No sitting president has ever done this. Never, never, never. No Republican president has done this. No Democrat president. We've had racists, and they've existed. They've tried to get elected president. He's the first one that has," end quote, the former vice president concluded. And once again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Now, McKelvey also went on to note the recent polling showing a substantial enthusiasm gap between Republicans who are excited about voting for Donald Trump versus Democrats who are at best tepid in their support for Biden. He claimed the remarks such as the ones Biden made on Wednesday are a big reason for that enthusiasm gap. McKelvey then reverted to far-left Black Lives Matter talking points in his takedown of the former vice president. Quote, "Old white male leadership has failed America, and there's nothing worse than an old white man who can't recognize the faults or flaws of other old white men," end quote, McKelvey said. Quote, "Racism is the American way. Donald Trump is not the first, and sadly, he won't be the last, right? He's just more overt with his racism than most presidents in recent times." So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Now, this comes from our vetted source, the TNA, but you have to say, it looks like Joe Biden's electability is not quite there, or there's quite a bit much to be desired at this point. But for the nomination of a Black woman, earlier this year, Joe Biden appeared before the Breakfast Club host with concerns over his criminal justice reform failures and the transgenerational damage to the Black community, which ended in a emphatic, "If you have a problem figuring out whether you are for me or Trump, then you ain't Black." So once again, let me know what you think in the comments. Like or unlike, share, or please make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. This is just another gaffe, or has Biden made his list and checking it twice for his VP appeal in his 2020 campaign run? And once again, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn.